Where is Julie? Where is Julie? Ba ba ba. Julie's putting on her lipstick.
What did you say?
Nothing personal.
Okay. There are just no secrets. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome this morning. And did you have fun in the snow? No. Yeah. Every February, it seems like we get to have a little snow. So glad you're here. Glad you're safe. Glad you're warm. Glad you could get out. So good to see you. We have a few announcements on the back of the bulletin, of course. But is there anyone here for the first time today? Okay. All right. Welcome. And inside your packet is a little slip, and if you turn it into me or Reverend Don, we will get you a Science of Mind magazine, a current Science of Mind magazine, which are really cool. And I believe the reading today will come from the Science of Mind magazine. So it's an amazing, wonderful magazine. Thank you, and welcome, and be sure to come downstairs for snacks after the service, and just enjoy. There's a lot of really good snacks down there. I already checked it out. So there's a class, up here it says next week Reverend Morrow will be speaking, but actually I'm going to fill in for him that Sunday, so I'll be speaking next Sunday, and not quite sure what I'm going to talk about, but I'll be here next week in case instead of Reverend Moore, in case that makes any difference to anybody. So there's a prosperity class that Reverend Moore is teaching, and it begins February 28th in 2 sessions. And I said this last time I was here, but he's using Eric Butterworth's Spiritual Economics, which is, you guys, the best book on the subject. I mean, Eric Butterworth was so brilliant. Anything he ever wrote was worth reading. But I got to, he passed away in his 90s, somewhere in the late 1990s. But our daughter lived in New York City in the 90s, and I went back there one time to visit, and while they were doing a bunch of moving work, they accused me of getting out of the moving, but that's not true. I wanted to see Eric Butterworth, so I went up to Alice Tully Hall and got to see him in person, which was a great joy for me. He's just an amazing individual. Was an amazing, still is wherever he is. So, yes, great book, great class. So the information is in your bulletin. And we're having a book sale, and that will be the last Sunday of March, which is March 26th. And we have books to sell, but if you want to donate any books, then I've found out going through and shelving my books that I actually have duplicates of a bunch of books. Go figure. So, you still have time to bring them in and donate the books. And any books that don't sell will go probably in our library or perhaps some other really good place. So, but do bring them in. It's a fundraiser, and we get a chance to get some really cool books. Next week is Potluck Sunday. Yes. All right. I'm going to put that on and remember that. I always forget it, but I never forget to eat when I'm here, so I really got to remember that. Thank you guys for going all the work to organizing that. So bring something to share or just bring yourself. So let's see. Soup for Soul fundraiser, March 19th. So what we're doing is bringing soup, and you get to buy soup for, the price isn't on here, but is it $3 a bowl? Was that what it was? $3 a bowl, which, you guys, that is a bargain if you've been buying soup anywhere. So, and if you're really great at making soup, bring some soup to share and to sell. All right, the last thing I want to say is our practitioners. And often they will have a stole on. I don't see the practitioners wearing a stole today, but and Don also is a minister and a practitioner. All the ministers in Centers for Spiritual Living are also practitioners because we are founded. That was primarily and first practitioners before we became churches, because we're grounded in prayer, and prayer absolutely works. So if you have something you want prayer about, please put a form in the prayer box in the library or talk to a prayer practitioner. Cheryl, could you stand up so people could see you? Because, Cheryl is our practitioner here today and on duty. Ruth, you are not sitting in your proper place. And Ruth, yes, okay, gorgeous hat. Wow, isn't that, I was like, oh, well, Ruth isn't here today. Yes, and Donna. Yes, Ruth and Donna, yes. All right. We had church, there's 3 dogs at church today, if anyone's interested. Yeah. We are not going to the dogs, but the dogs are coming to us. No one got that, did they? Yeah, okay. So it is time to move on to our congregational song and our wonderful, wonderful Blaine Moody.
Let's stand and sing this song, please. Okay. See?
I release and I let go. I let that spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let that spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let that spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. And I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Good singing.
No, yeah. Julie, I have lost some weight, but I haven't gotten that thin yet. So let us come together in the joy and beauty of this sanctuary, and in your spirit, listen to these words. If you'd like to close your eyes, that would be great. I know that God is all there is. All there is God. And God is in flowers, in trees, in puppy dogs, and in all people. And so I know that what I speak today, I speak for those of the world, starting right here in Woodland Chapel. And I know that everything that is spoken today will be absolutely perfect in your heart. Listen. And as you listen, accept the love of God, accept the beauty of the earth, the joy of the animals that inhabit it with us. And I release and I let go. And I know that the words I speak are the words of God. And the answer is always yes. Please join me in saying it, and so it is. Thank you.
Okay.
This is my practice for platform. Let us all say the affirmation together. It'll be found on the first page for the new people. I now allow the latent divinity within me to stir my imagination, and I joyously live my curiosity for all things bright and beautiful to be revealed in every situation, every experience, and everyone appearing in my life, right now, right out loud. And so it is. Good morning. Oops, gotta keep the mic here. I'm Catherine, Simon's mom, or rather, in Simon's dogma. Get it? Ha ha ha. Oh, come on. I had to say that for the new people.
The ambassador.
Today's reading comes from the Center for Spiritual Living Science of Mind magazine. It was written by Dr. Bob Lucken and channeled through his dog Murphy. It's entitled The Rainbow Bridge. Once again, I'll be reading on behalf of Simon, who has been so lovingly dubbed by Reverend Don as Woodland Chapel's ambassador dog. Simon says, I've been told that when dogs, like me, some cats, and a few birds go to sleep for the last time, they cross a rainbow bridge. Although it sounds like they go to a wonderful place, I haven't seen humans talk about it without tears in their eyes. I've also been told that when humans close their eyes for the last time, a stairway to heaven awaits. I don't know, but I am curious to know if there's a rainbow bridge or a stairway to heaven. I believe at some point all creatures will enter a deep sleep followed by a great awakening. My reasonable mind argues against this, but there is an unreasonable part of me that knows a greater truth. My bones tell me I am not my bones. My brain tells me I am not my brain. If a mighty oak can live inside an acorn, anything is possible. I believe time has no beginning or no end, and neither do you or me. In a dream, I saw a stone weep when its river ran dry, and an eagle dancing with the sky. I saw a bobcat kill a rabbit. I watched a spark of light leave the rabbit's body, and I knew the rabbit hadn't died. You and I are on a journey. I feel sure we'll meet many times, in many places, and in many different forms. We need to remember that nothing really dies. Our life force simply changes form. Simon has one more thing to say. On a personal note, to all of you who welcome me here, to all of you who show me love, to all of you who care for me, thank you. I love you too. Thank you.
Okay, Catherine. So we'll have some special music playing to soothe our soul.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. Let's sing that together. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. Now we're going to sing, Why Have I? Why have I come to earth? Do I remember? Why have I taken birth? Why have I come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. Thanks for singing.
So perfect. Thank you, Blaine. And I want to welcome, for those who are here for the first time, Reverend Don Kerr, who is just a magnificent being. And yeah, we all know that. So wait upon your words.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Julie. You are truly here, love, to serve and remember. Yes. Don't we just love Blaine's music? So good morning, and how blessed we are to be in one another's company this morning. Oh my goodness, we're alive in human form. We get to feel such wonderful things. You know, we in our human bodies, we call ourselves spiritual beings, having our human experience. That's what our privilege is, having our human experience. And one of those things we feel is curiosity. Curiosity. We get to feel that inquisitiveness about why have I come to earth? Many other questions. Our topic of the morning message says, living curiosity out loud. Well, I would like to add that, and I think it's keeping our sense of humor about all that we may discover. Now, have you ever seen the picture? Maybe you have. I've seen it a couple times. Of Jesus called the Laughing Jesus. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's found in some New Thought literature. You can find it. It shows a picture of Jesus in full laughter, full legs slapping delight at something. At definitely not anything serious. And to me, in that picture I saw, I think he looks like he was really enjoying a good joke. Yeah, I think he was. I'm not sure. I'm not sure any of you here remember me sharing with you one of my favorite. I like to call it irreverent religious joke. And if I've told it before, I'm sure I have. I'm just going to tell it again. I think Jesus might get a kick out of it if he was around and heard it. So I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to share it with you this morning and see what you think. If you've heard it before, give me a few giggles. That would make me feel good. There was a man who was employed by a Catholic church to clean and maintain the sanctuary, which had this beautiful altar arrangement with a larger-than-life-size statue of Mary. Mary standing over there in all her radiant glory, looking down at the pews. And then on the other side of the altar was a statue of Jesus, the same size, more than life size. Arms stretched out, looking down at the pews. Now, the man mostly kept a low profile while cleaning and attending the sanctuary. He didn't want to get in the way of anybody. But he noticed everything, and he noticed everyone who came into the sanctuary during the day. And one thing he noticed was a little grandmotherly Italian lady who spoke broken English and always made her way to the statue of Mary, and there she would kneel and pray and talk to Mary. So he noticed she had long conversations talking with Mary, and he thought he would play a prank on this little gal. So he carefully positioned himself hiding behind the statue of Jesus about the time he knew she'd be coming back to talk to Mary. And he waited and he allowed her about 10 minutes to conversation with Mary. Of course, Mary didn't answer. She just listened. But the little lady was interrupted with a voice coming from the Jesus statue of the altar that said, "Come, talk to me. I am your Lord and Savior." And then the little lady seemed to ignore the words. So the janitor spoke a little louder. "Do you not hear me? I say, come, kneel before me. I am your Lord." She continued talking to Mary. So he spoke a little louder. "Are you listening? Come over here. Let me pray for your soul." The little Italian lady stopped, turned slightly to Jesus, and boldly replied, "Shut up your mouth. I'm a-talking to your mother." You've heard it before, but I like it. I've heard it before. I like it. Irreverent. The irreverent reverends, I'm called sometimes. Okay, so if folks, stick around long enough with us as we share this amazing forward-thinking philosophy, they probably are going to hear some things that they may need a little more explaining of what we mean. We may bring up things that sound a little different than what was heard in a more traditional church. But for one thing, for us, we've switched over from calling our house of faith a church of religious science. We're now known as Woodland Chapel. We keep that. Salem Center for Spiritual Living. Keeping the Woodland Chapel name, of course, grandfathered in. But we no longer refer to our center as a church. And sometimes it feels like a loss. It's not for a church for religious experiences only, we say. We're on this forward movement we like to think of global intentions for creating conditions for a world that can work for all of us. Now, we used to take pride in being the best-kept spiritual secret in town. We used to get up here and talk about that. But we no longer want to think that way. In fact, I was looking through the monthly materials our center headquarters send out to the ministers to put forth our monthly messages. And I noticed right up front in the one that I got, Pam asked me a question for me to answer and work into the message of the morning. And the question was straightforward and direct. And here's what it said. It said, "Are you still playing small, or are you ready to be who you came here to be?" Ooh. I asked myself, what kind of a question is that in here? Where am I going to go with that? And have I been playing small? Or am I ready to come here to be who I was born to be? Did I come here for a purpose? On purpose, to do something greater than I may have known up to now, up to this moment? So I further asked myself, what has that got to do with the topic given to us today to consider? It states, living curiosity out loud. Well, I don't know. Somewhere, I remember hearing someone say, or read it somewhere, that curiosity is the most basic calling of life. And that's because it's a call of life for us to come and be and then to do what is ours to do, what we're called to do, but only do after we've realized what and who we really are. We're taught in this upward swinging philosophy that we call religious science, we're taught that we're made in the likeness of God with the intelligence of God endowed inherited. We're magnificent expressions of God, and we're the receptacles for all of God's limitless good, because we say God is all there is, and all God is good. Thank you, Ruth. She reminds us that all the time. And as these magnificent expressions of the divine, we are called to live a life filled up and overflowing with that goodness of God. And beyond these being receptacles, we're to care and share that good. Now, not hanging on. We don't hoard what we know is our good. And curiosity, then, if you think about it, I have to agree to this now. I read that in some of the materials, that it's truly a superpower. It's a superpower as one of the most basic qualities of our evolving from this single cell beginning, as we've read about, to exploration, to the next steps of our ongoing evolution as the lighted beings, ever being curious and inquisitive and ever exploring and then questing and navigating the whole cosmos. We ain't attached to this planet only, it seems. Starting right here, though, we're to plant, and we're to harvest the fruits of heaven. The fruits of heaven on the good earth. This is our home for now. Now, how does that sound now, Limitless good, sharing it. And our curiosity can pull us into the direction of uncovering our constant good and lead us to know the truth of what we are. The truth of what we are. Revealing for us all that we are and all that we can experience and aware as we experience that. No autopiloting. No autopiloting. Not puppets on some cosmic string. We're not talking about that. But in the flow of the universal calling of creation to outpicture God and God's purpose to be who we were born to be. Living God. Living our life as the divine heart beating in our hearts, and the divine having its way through us, for us, as us, and our discoveries expanding to include all life. One of our major goals, Centers for Spiritual Living, create a world for all. So as we inquire, as we quest, as we give in to our, I think, inborn, innate curiosity, this can lead us to discoveries beyond our wildest freaking imaginations, really. Limitless in number. No limits in the universe. So why there should be limits to our imagination? We can go there, anywhere in our mind. So curiosity then really is a superpower. Yeah, superpower, because in our curiousness and inquiring and searching, you know what really happens? We grow our awareness and our learning about what or when and what can be. We spark the imaginations at the same time, and that leads us to what I'm getting at, expanding our consciousness. We think of a consciousness as up, that's all there is. Well, we can expand our own personal individual consciousness. You see, our consciousness, we talk about this, our individual consciousness expands to the points where we have these transformations, revelations and transformations, changing our life, we talk about changing our thinking, and raising us to the point of just praising our aliveness, just raising and praising our aliveness. Consciousness holds all that we can be aware of, and it always leads to more. It is not static. Our consciousness is the sum total of all that we have ever experienced and absorbed and then held in faith and belief, and it influences consciously or subconsciously sometimes all of our actions, and it influences all that we do, all of our behaviors. And it influences us to go out upon and into our corners of the world where we operate, where we live, where we love. And we travel in. We become joined then with others of kindred spirit and like-mindedness. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're always in this law of attraction mode also. You see, we got to appreciate that ever-working law of attraction. You got to appreciate that. You bet. And thereby, we contribute to what we receive from the whole group consciousness, a part of the mass consciousness of this whole world, of all humanity. We put into the pool of expansion for the world consciousness with our behaviors, our thinking, what we do. This morning we had a meditation. Cheryl did a meditation, Cheryl Guess. And she talked about we make a difference where we walk on the planet. We leave our mark. We make things there that will be there for either good, positive, or negative, depending upon how we do it. We put into this pool of expansion for the world consciousness by what we do. And as our behaviors and actions become the habits and become cultures of the culture we feed from and that we add to and we contribute to the group consciousness, and therefore our curiosities have become excavations. Yeah, excavations for discovering what we want to believe is truth. What we want to believe is truth. What is truth to me? And we have all heard the proclamation that knowing the truth, what does it do? Sets us free. The truth sets us free. Setting us free. Free from what? Free from what? Why do we have to be free? It's free from what is known and known by many others as human misery of fear. It's fear. Two of the most influencing beliefs in our lives are fear and love. Love. It's not love and hate. It's love and fear. One great measuring thermometer for us to test the waters, any waters of human experience, to see if it holds truth. And that's what we're looking for, to set us free. If any teaching, listen to this now, don't forever forget this. If any teaching that wants you to follow it and use it in the roads and the pathways of your life, if it comes from fear, if it preaches fear, or from fearful teachings that hold these lot of shoulds and should nots, or what it is, it is not the truth. Fear never sets you free. False teaching is based on fear teaching. Remember the old metaphysical truth about fear. You've heard this before, the FEAR. Anybody want to tell me what that stands for metaphysically in our philosophy? False evidence appearing real. It's not forget everything and run. It's false evidence appearing real. Yeah. So that leads us to something really, really, I think, important. Anytime, in any way, if we can neutralize fear in our life and awareness of the power of mental equivalence become our wielding power, and awareness of the power of these mental equivalents. Now, they can rise up with curiosity, which can help us to expand and define these mental equivalents. Now, if someone's new to our science of mind, they may shake their heads and wondering what we're talking about when we say mental equivalence. Well, we can start with mind, our mind, your mind, my mind. We start with our thoughts, our thinking, and nothing can come from nothing. Nothing can come from nothing. But our science of mind perspective sees the wholeness of creation in the entire cosmos in a way that James Jeans and our other science-orientated minds. Have you ever heard of James, J-E-A-N-S? Is that French, Jeans? James Jeans, I think it is. Einstein is part of that group here that we put into this. He said that the universe begins to look more like a great thought than a great machine. And then others have said it that in this way. It seems that the universe is operating like a great thinking mind rather than a mechanical, or accidental apparatus that may be ungoverned by just explosive random happenings. That's not the universe. That's not the way it's working. And once we enter this perspective, oh, did you see where we've discovered these huge, giant, 100 million times larger than our universes and galaxies way out there in this new telescope that's been set out? It's amazing that's when we meet, that's, okay, infinitely splendid. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. See, once we enter this kind of a perspective with an open, curious mind, we can find it easier to develop a faith that accepts that there must be an equivalent definition of purpose for each cosmic happening. You hear us talk about this. We don't believe there's any accidents in the universe. No. And this carries an equivalency, a reflection, maybe like a hologram, I don't know, but maybe throughout the universe and all the stars, all the planets, and all the darkness and the light and energy pulled into orbits and following this equivalent energy, equal for every action, opposite and equal reaction, all of that stuff. I just take it knowing that it's got to be a part of the truth because it makes sense. But it's this equivalent energy to form solar systems that have a power source. It's like our amazing solar system. Isn't this an amazing little place we live in? And this sweetheart of a planet, Mother Earth, we call it our mother, do we not? My God, we don't always treat it like our mother, but we call it our mother. Mother Earth, our home in this system of all the planets and stars. And because in our human existence and all of our expressions, we are explorers. We've come, our curiosity is there always. We are explorers of our existence. Our curiosity makes us scientists and makes us priests and poets and builders and all that kind of thing. But poets, and as well as these builders and co-creators, we have a need to explore what we call duality. You notice that? Things of opposites. Individualism, it's light and dark, it's balanced and unbalanced, it's up and down, it's here and there. And all the separateness we see with our human planet eyes and believing with our little planet mind. We see in this way that we need to use then our inquisitiveness. We begin to use our bold curiosity. Why? We transform and we transfer our privilege to use this gift of our minds to introspect why we're here. And we have a lot of other curious thoughts. But the thing is, what is it that we desire to be? What is it we desire to be? And we as the poets and the priests and the builders and the co-creators of life forms, we find out that what we hold as truth in our minds, what we really grasp and hang on to, much of the time that becomes our faith. That's why we develop our faith. Faith builds a mental concept in our minds which activates that law of creation. And creation, I like to think of as outpictured as a reality of what we desire and hold in readiness to accept as ours. What is it I'm ready to accept as mine? Haven't we heard the spiritual saying that as within, so without, as above, so below? Just a simple statement that tries to tell us what we hold in our belief will help us to create a mental equivalent of what we desire. Now, some folks will take that. They'll state that what we hold in believing will help us create this mental equivalent of what we want. But here's where the rubber meets the road. Here's where the rubber meets the road. No. When we learn that the universe always says yes, those who know that, that's the law of creation. Many times we're going to state a prayer saying what we really want. And then the universe says, oh, want. Okay, you want? Here's some want. What's next? And then we're confused by, why don't I get what I want? Wanting, you see, has a different vibration than desire. Wanting is a feeling of a lack of something, to want something. But desire is a feeling of a different color. Desire quenches our thirst. True spiritual curiosity is beyond wanting to know. Wanting is ego-driven. Wanting is ego-driven. Something to look inward and understand on that. Wanting is object-driven. Wanting is a worldly thing. Wanting is driven by circumstances and situationally, constantly driven, and it's subject to change all the time. The ego is restless because the ego is insecure. It knows it has a shelf life. It's the thing that dies. Desire, though, is a core feeling. Mystically, we can desire from the sire. Got this now, the father, mother source of our being alive and curious. There's a whole story around that. Don't have time to tell that. But desire is woven with the richness of complete surrender and acceptance, full of your feelings. We can be enveloped and enfolded in desire. And the law of attraction heeds desire's calling. We get what we desire. Wanting will gain us more wanting. The mental equivalent that we hold in our belief and faith awash with desire has no wanting in it. It's just poised and ready to receive. Yeah. Dr. Ernest Holmes is going to quote him here now. He writes in his great book, The Science of Mind. Oh man, when I discovered that book, I spent 5 years just reading it. Yeah, it's a big book. But on page 281, in case you want to look this up, there's an entire chapter on mental equivalency. And in there he states very simply and definitely these words. The law of mind in our creating process is perfect and it's infinite, but to make a demonstration of manifesting of what we desire, we must have a mental equivalent of the thing we desire. I notice he didn't say anything about wanting anything. Now, in coming to a conclusion here, the title, Living Curiosity Out Loud, is really, I think it's a call to action. A call to action. It's an opportunity. No. I think it's a purpose. It's a purpose. Each of us was born with it. We got it in us somewhere, inherited from our divine source to make life in human form and give freedom to our human nature to explore, to wonder, seek, and learn what our true purpose is on this planet. And we just have to think about it. The ultimate purpose of evolution for being on this planet, a fact. What's it all about? I think the logical answer when it's asked, what is the ultimate purpose of evolution? It's to produce things, not things, beings. To produce beings who can consciously cooperate with life. Yeah, consciously cooperate. And do that through the cooperation, the evolving principle itself, to progress. It can completely more express itself. That's straight from Dr. Ernest Holmes. Yes, consciously cooperate with life. Now, here's something you can take home, put it on the refrigerator. Wake up each day and stir your curiosity. So the truth. Here's the truth. The universe can only give us what we take, what we're willing to accept. And our taking is governed only by that willingness to receive. That is governed by our consciousness. And to receive the quality gifts of the divine givingness that's always at work, we got to make a joyful noise unto the listening ear of the universe. We've got to let it be known. Awakening it to our individual desires that can just be formed out of living our curiosity out loud. Yeah, no holding back. No, trusting in our purpose for being here to one that is simply waiting our discovery that it is us and in us and as us, and that makes us enough for us to be the all ever becoming God expressions that we really are. And that means we're without limitations, except none what we put on ourselves. Yeah, we can do that. Now, that's where curiosity can just crack the ignorance of fear. Why? How come? It's okay. And just know that there's no baloney when we say that God is all there is. Where can you see God? Well, you have to be aware and awake. So let's get on with it. I'm going to stop right there. Thanks for listening. Thank you, guys. Okay.
This is a song about curiosity by Carl Anthony. I tend to question all I know, and then it's on with the show. How are you today? What's been heavy on your mind? And how do you suppose we find the answers to what you're looking for? Who knows the answers to your questions? Who knows the way? Answers to your questions. Who knows the way? So now we begin. Let go of all that's been, just ask. Answers will appear. Deep in your heart, questions are the place to start. Relax. I think you know your way. And the questions simply open up your mind. In the answers your eyes can see where once you were blind. All of life is filled with searching for the right answers and ask the right questions. You know the answers to your questions. You know the way. The answers to your questions. You know the way. So challenge your life to keep the edge upon the night. Remember what this life is for. Nothing stays the same. You and I, we play the game and wonder, is there any more? And the questions simply open up your mind. In the answers your eyes can see where once they were blind. All of life is filled with searching for the right answers and ask the right questions. Sing with me. You know the answers to your questions. You know the way. You know the answers to your questions. You know the way. Now let's put our hand on our hearts and we're going to sing, I know. I know the answers to my questions. I know the way. I know the answers to my questions. I know the way. You know. You know the way. We know. We know the way. Amen.
Thank you, Blaine.
Yeah, thank you, Blaine. Thank you, Don. And it is a truth, isn't it, that within us we have the answer. And it might be a process to find that, but it's always within us. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. And invite our ushers to come forward. And let us say together as they come forward our affirmation. And do listen to the words to this affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Indeed.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our voice be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Oh, yes, blessed always. And when we say amen, we're not putting a final stamp upon what we do here. We know that it just confirms that we are a spiritual family that is willing to support this wonderful place that we come and call our spiritual home. And your offerings today, we just want to say thank you. We know that you give from your heart, we know that you give all that you can, and we know that you will continue giving. And we really appreciate you, and we love you. We call you our beloveds. And so it is. Amen.
And so let us stand and say together our prayer.
That's prayer of protection. Starts with the light.
Light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and
peace is possible. It is all within our own consciousness. So.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Do that. I release, I let go, I let that spirit run my life, and my eyes is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go, I let that spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Thank you. She's good. She's going to be back next Sunday. We're trying to be